A lot of stuff has happened since last week.
I know. What a crazy week that was.
And I can see we all survived.
That was fun.
It was
awesome. Yeah.
A lot of great models again this year.
A lot of great people again.
Yes, sir.
Lots of funny faces, lots of funny people, lots of great models.
Yeah, neat products.
Yeah.
All right,
sneak
best
peeks
hobby in the world.
Yeah, it sure is. Isn't
We should
it?
try. We should try to do a show on golf or pool or something sometime.
Why? Those are boring.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
You
and
ready?
Start.
You ready?
I'm ready.
We're ready.
Let's roll.
You guys ready? Everybody else ready?
I think they're all ready.
All right,
Taking a
we're
seat.
ready.
Daniel, give us a countdown.
All right, in 3, 2, 1.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. And by GL Robotics, with over 61 colors of 3D printing filaments in stock. Your gateway to new technology. Check out their website at glroboticsusa.com. Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975. Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com. And by Intermountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com. Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
This is the What's Neat This Week show in model railroading, show number 243 for August 5th, 2023. School starts in 3 more weeks, guys. Unbelievable how that's happening.
It sure is.
There's a whole lot of neat stuff out there right now. You can watch the month before August at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. That would be July.
Yes.
July
Yeah.
show is running currently. A lot of amazing material in that. Plus the August show will be out on August 15th. A lot of neat stuff coming up in that show, and I'm working diligently right now on September's show, and I've got to have that all complete probably in the next week. But you guys don't want to hear about that. We're going to talk about trains. But I'm not sure how to come off of last week's show. I sat down here and I watched it multiple times and enjoyed all of the energy in the room.
So
that we
let's
had.
talk about some of the highlights of it then. If you can't get off of your high, let's
I know,
do
right?
that.
Well, let's all talk about some highlights.
Hey, who's sitting down here tonight? Over here I got Mike Buddy right next to the monitor. Hey, Mike.
buddy.
I got Joshua Barton
Hi,
right
everybody.
here. And our favorite, not behind the camera tonight, we got Daniel Coombs, our favorite Boy Scout in that opening.
Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scout.
Official
Thank
now.
you very much.
In every clip of every show that we run.
Yeah, I love to see you in the beginning of the show.
I got a pencil, thank you, Lord. I do want to say that I talked to Randy Hook today. Randy Hook is a gentleman that has designed the whatsneat.com website that is an index of every single guest we've ever had on this podcast. I know we call it show 243, but with all the additional shows that we've done, 0.5s, there's actually closer to about 280 shows on the internet. And Randy has created an index where every single guest, every single model we've ever talked about, there are photographs of all of that with a link to that show. Not just to the show, but to the segment of that show. Randy Hook is an amazing individual out on the East Coast that does this because he loves us and we love you too. But he told me today, and he wasn't going to actually tell me this today, I had to call him up. He's creating a new what'sneat.com website. He's improving things, and I don't know how you could make it any more better than it is, but look forward to what it was he was trying to explain to me.
Anyone can do it, he can.
Oh my gosh.
That's a fact.
He also might be helping Denny Yelsma make his website work because as of today, the shopping cart's still not working.
Call him.
I know, right? It's all going to work out. Everything's going to be good, but I understand that the what'sneat.com will be easier to access on your Android and Apple cell phones.
And remember, August is here now. So that means October is right around the corner. Those cooler temperatures, you need a good light jacket, you need a heavy jacket, you need a rain jacket. You can get all those from Denny.
Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. Or if you want to make custom shirts or even, a hat I'm wearing from Denny. Got from the national show here back in 22. Appreciate that, Denny, and appreciate you for my 2 cruise shirts.
Another thing we talked about last week was the advent of 3D printing and how it's really, really taken over the industry. I talked to Greg Summerlin this week, and there was a full-size printer that was being displayed on Facebook where you could actually print household furniture, not in scale, but in 1-to-1 scale where you can actually sit on it. You could create nightstands. You could create, oh my goodness, what's the limit on this?
There's actual house printers out there now that if you go on Facebook, you can see, and they printed a house in like 11 or 14 days, something like that. It's, of course, one level, and it's cheap, and but I mean, it looks really durable. It's as hard as concrete from what I understand, but I mean, that just kind of boosts the limits.
I know, right? A lot of the folks that were in the basement last night wanted me to turn on the 3D printer that we've got down here. It's a filament printer, and that's how, as you recall, the gentleman that created all the car dealerships that were on display at last week's show, he uses a filament printer for that. Mm-hmm. So don't think that you absolutely have to buy a resin printer and deal with the chemicals. A filament printer is a great way to start out. It's the way they start out a lot of folks at these school programs now. Greg, in fact, is working with the schools down there in his area where he lives and is presenting these machines, and the kids are creative as can be and are making things out of nothing. This is so Star Trek. I mean, remember Star Trek?
Yeah.
You just push the button and the sugar fire ribs, the little door goes up and you pull out the ribs.
That's right. Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Yes.
That guy you were talking about that did the car dealerships, Joseph Blevins from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He actually had a Carvana tower.
I saw that.
Everything was 3D printed. It had lights in it and everything. It operated, and
he is absolutely amazing. He's the one that helped design the sugar fire, and
that's
he's the
right.
one that 3D prints the sugar fires.
Yeah, he does some cool stuff.
Amazing stuff. I know he came a few years before with Sam Dennehy and brought a whole nother layout that was just amazing. There was a McDonald's and a Taco Bell and then a strip mall.
It was all fast food restaurants.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it was all car. It was a Ford dealership, a Mercedes dealership, and then the Carvana. That was very cool. Oh. And speaking of 3D models, there were some 3D models of us made this weekend.
That's right.
Ooh, wait a minute.
And I have a picture right here that we're going to put up, and this is James.
Wait a minute. I thought I was smiling.
And you kind of are smiling, but James, me, and Ken and Mike, we all got Daniel scheduled next time he comes. But we're looking very forward to our miniatures to put here on the layout and on everyone else's layout.
For sure.
That's mini prints from
Go
Bernard
check
Helen.
them out on Facebook. He put a whole array of videos and stuff. Mike and I took him to the graffiti wall here in St. Louis and did a bunch of train spotting. We took him to Vic Smith, the City Edge layout, and he just adored that. And had a really a great time and got scanned. Bernard did 37 people, scanned 37
Over the
people.
weekend.
2 days.
Yeah.
He had his work cut out for him.
He barely had a half an hour to go around to the model. So next year he's hopefully going to schedule more time.
Man.
So
Well, he'll be at
it was
the
a
Anna
big
Maria
hit.
National next month, right?
yes, he'll be
Yeah.
there in Texas.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can get scanned at that show if you attend. I think he said it was $89 to get
Yep.
scanned.
And you get 5 different minifigures. So
Well, they're all the same.
Well, right. Well, yeah, you get
same
5
pose.
of yourself. Correct.
I think we created a new word for the Webster Dictionary last week, and that is called mini-me's. Because mini-me's fit, that you can buy a mini-me of yourself.
Yeah.
How amazing is
Yeah.
that? So people are going to have us on their layouts together. What are we doing, a podcast as the train runs
Yeah.
by?
I got a little Lionel. I got a little Bruce, the mail boy.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a little Mike. A Vic got scanned. We're going to have a little Vic.
That's really fun, man.
Ed Dickens got scanned.
Yeah.
A couple of his crew members got scanned too. We were there for some of that. There were
Yeah.
quite a few people that are on there.
George Bogatuk showed me his little mini-me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had it on the table at the show, and it was dressed in purple.
Yeah.
I know.
It's so cool. I mean, look, this wouldn't have happened 5 years ago. You know, this is the most amazing, revolutionary thing. I mean, Frazier was the best that you could get with the minifigures.
And
you
their
know?
their hands were like, when I had
Right.
that bandage on my hand, they were like this. The,
Yep.
the Frazier hands.
Yeah, our friend
And
Al-
now they got fingers.
Alvin
Right.
got scanned,
Alvin
and now
Gilbert,
he's
yeah.
waving, and now he has fingers.
Yeah,
So it's
HO
just-
scale.
Yeah, it's super
That's
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't bring it, but I got 2 3D printed scale models, 1/25th scale model cars over the weekend. And they came from the Ukraine, and man, they are incredible.
Really?
So I didn't really think it, was part of this podcast. I
Stay
didn't bring it,
tuned.
but yeah.
Here's a teaser.
Look, there's a train running, gentlemen.
Would you look at that?
Look at that.
Let's go run some trains. And actually, we talked about doing a show tonight, as we're on camera too right now. You got sound.
Yes.
Rock and roll. Broadway Limited, I think M1A, M1B is running right now.
I was pulling some cars out of the drawer and off the layout too. I
Oh,
tried
so
to
it's a
keep it
longer train.
era appropriate.
Yeah.
I know, let's just watch the run by like
Yeah.
everybody else is.
I love running trains.
We need to light it up from the backside so it's lit better, I think.
Yeah.
That would
Yep.
look pretty cool.
Yep,
I know,
we'll-
right?
We'll get the stagehands to do that for next
Yeah.
show. Definitely. Yeah, that's just... Love those old long boxcar trains. You don't see those anymore.
Right.
You know,
Well,
it's all
with the different
everything's
slogans
mixed now.
on
Yeah.
and the different logos and sayings and everything.
You know, and I want to bring something up. Just in talking with everybody, and everyone is from everywhere around St. Louis for the around the U.S. for the RPM. They come from all over the place.
The world.
And I realize that the trains that I see every day are sometimes nothing like the trains that run in other places. You know, there's those auto trains. I've never seen an auto train that has the
Right.
the
It goes
auto
to
racks
Florida.
with right.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that I realize, and in our journeys too, just seeing all this new stuff that's not just St. Louis appropriate. But we're really lucky here, and I didn't realize that until I had a talk with Bernard, that there are so many different flags of trains
Fallen
that have came
flags.
through. Well, most
Yeah.
of them are fallen,
Right.
But that have came through St. Louis.
Right.
I mean, if you go to our Union Station, you'll see all the different flags that went there. But we're really lucky to be here in the heartland of America, where
Right.
other than Chicago, this was kind of a vessel through to the west from the
Yeah,
east.
the western terminus of
we
a lot of
got
railroads.
to have a great heritage of railroads here in
For
St.
sure.
Louis.
Yep.
And
Yes.
it took people from out of town for me to even realize that,
Yeah.
because we go to the same spots and see the same stuff, and it's kind of like, okay,
It's a normal
seen
routine.
it again, but you bring perspective of someone that's never been here. It's just kind of amazing,
Sitting on the back porch with Holly out there, I have been seeing a lot of stack trains lately. The two commodities I see the most is stack trains and autorack trains. And a lot of brand new autoracks evidently are constantly getting manufactured because the train that went by Wednesday was all brand new
Well,
racks.
okay, so DeSoto, where I model, is the Union Pacific's auto rack facility.
Okay.
So all the old auto racks that are tarnished come in, and there's 4 tracks that they sit on. So you can spend the whole day there and get great pictures of graffiti on these auto racks. and all these tarnished vehicles. And then they go into the shop and you'll see a whole line of 20,
Absolutely.
30 brand
Oh my
new,
gosh.
Yeah.
sparkling.
Brand new looking.
It's, you know, it's neat because
Yeah.
there's so many different facilities in there. There's a whole wash facility, wash facility that cleans them all up and sparkles them when they're done being worked on, and then re-decaled and painted and everything. And it's a very, very neat process. So I'm lucky to be able to see that. Yeah.
Yep.
What's next?
Oh my goodness, you had to ask. What's coming up next is, because he's not by the camera tonight, behind it, he's with us. We have our favorite, of course, Daniel. And he's not the young Daniel anymore.
No.
There's a thing called growing up, Ken. And I think
Listen
you might have
to
gone through that phase already.
I don't know, I'm not really sure.
So
You
young
did.
and naive.
That's up for debate.
Yeah.
I'll never grow up.
Yeah.
You got some beautiful models on the table tonight. I acknowledge that. Tell us what you brought.
Yeah. Well, so in this case here, of course, these are the only models decorating the table tonight, but this was a good time for me to bring it because I had some time. First off, I want to start, these two locomotives I have actually seen out in the real life. And this one is the recent release, well, from scaletrains.com. However, I got the DCC ready version. As most of you guys know, I'm actually a soundtracks user, so I just prefer to put soundtracks in there. Now what I did, and of course I'm showing you clips of kind of both how I installed sound in both of these. Nick Santo, out in the East Coast, a gentleman that makes something called the Decoder Buddy. I want to give a shout out to him. It's a universal board that he's got one that's a version 4. He's got one version 5 where you can have like many different lighting effects, I think up to 8 or 10.
Wow.
And it's a 21-pin adapter. You put any 21-pin decoder on there, sound, non-sound, all ready to go, DCC. But as you're seeing here, clips throughout what I'm showing you guys, process of just installing it and trying to retrofit it because a stock scaled trains board, I should say, had a regular DC jumper on it, and it's got capacitors built on, so of course process removing that off the main frame of the locomotive. And then the lighting, there's no wires in the lights. It's these small spring-loaded tabs on a circuit board that are mounted corresponding on the bottom top of the frames where the rear light is and then the front light. So I was able to, you know, take my multimeter and do voltage readings to see where my lights were on and when they were off, take a 9-volt battery with a resistor on it, and then test those lights individually.
And you've seen these two specific engines in real life,
Yes,
too,
I
huh?
have. I've seen both of these out in the wild, so to speak. And I
Very
actually,
cool.
2 years, it hasn't been 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago in 2020, when they had to release the Burlington Northern Heritage units, as you guys see here for 25th anniversary, I actually saw this run on the river sub on a coal train, and yeah, it was like it was
Very
fresh off the
cool.
factory floor.
And City Rail runs around here, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Very
Once in a
cool.
great while. However, I have been seeing a lot of units just out on the CN tracks around St. Louis because I heard that they had got on recall back to the CN or back to the BN, whoever needed them back, and I hear freight's like really picking up. So
Very, very
see
cool.
some of those once in a while.
What's up with this? Who
Well,
weathered this?
That would actually be me, and now most of you guys don't know, and I tell you guys I'm going to be honest, and Mike, I'm going to be honest, I'm a rookie amateur at this. I don't know if it looks great. I mean, no, I talked to Mike earlier and Josh both, and they both agree that this does look like a decent, grungy auto rack. And like we were just talking about auto racks from DeSoto, though, the roof, I kind of did a mix of acrylics and powders, and I did like a little wash, whatever you want to call it. Now, I didn't use turpentine like you use, Ken. I took like just a big old paintbrush and a little bit of acrylics, again, just to start off, to know how to do the streaks and whatever. Mix it in with a little bit of water and just lightly did it in about a couple
Did you do
layers.
that on the sides too?
Yes, I did do it all the way around. And of course on the roof, so what I took is I took like the end of the brush to where it was facing in a vertical up and down, to where the
Right.
whole brush isn't horizontal.
Right.
Streak down the roof, so that way it looks like rust is bleeding off the roofs
Right.
with the raindrops and all that. And then a couple rust browns, red brown, and then dark brown
Very
for the
cool.
roof side.
If you go to Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine and check out the What's Neat show, Ken and Mike did a rat-tat-tat video on how to make indentations and then pull those down for rust.
Nice.
And you can also use something called turpentine.
It's not
It's
turpentine.
it's less
Correct.
corrosive. I don't think the word is corrosive, but it doesn't soften the plastic like turpentine does. You've got to be careful with turpentine because you've got to let it set and dry, because if you don't, your ends, your grab irons, all those fine details in plastic will be soft. So turpentine is a little more friendly. You can find it at Hobby Lobby, I believe. So yeah, that's one thing to point out.
Yep. So that's pretty much on my plate. I don't know what else has been going on, and actually a few things on my lab. Been putting scenery on, but we'll wait till next time to share more of that.
Nice.
So.
All right, so the one thing we talked about tonight on the back porch in the green room, because it's very green outside, was what would it be like to actually create a show where we are running trains for the whole show? Let's go run some trains, right? We say that all the time, and a lot of times we're shooting B-roll of the models, and everybody's got to be somewhere after we shoot the show, and honest to gosh, we don't actually run trains every single time, right?
Right.
But wouldn't it be fun for everybody to bring one, load them up in the switch yard, and roll them out? Show James Regier running his passenger trains, his Santa Fe PAs, and his F units.
I'd love to pull out the aero train and run my aero train.
Oh, yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Too, man.
Yeah, very cool.
I'll bring a piggyback.
That's a great idea. We
And I'm
should
going to
do
bring a
that.
modern mixed
trailers.
freight or something like
So
that.
I guess it would be a couple of cameras roaming around. I'm not sure how to handle sound yet. We could pull sound right off the cameras because generally the microphones we've got suppress room sound.
Right. Yep.
So you wouldn't actually hear the sound of the train, but it's something that we're kicking around. If anybody's got some ideas or maybe they've done it before, I'd be very interested in knowing your setup or what you did to choreograph a show like that. It's probably not that difficult to do, in that if you got cameras roaming around, it's about the trains. And pull off a little bit, it's about the people. You know, Mike's
Yeah.
waving as his train goes by, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
So
Well,
what do you guys think?
well, I mean, let's pick some projects too, so we can do some projects as well, so we can have a lot of content and have a whole show of just, you know, this show is a half an hour or so. We don't do much hands-on stuff. We talk about things. That's what the
Right.
hourly show is.
Right.
But
Right.
you know,
The hourly show is more hands-on.
correct.
is.
But maybe we should do a 30-minute.
Yeah.
You know, let's show some projects we're actually doing in the midst of and not finished with. You
Okay,
know?
good idea. Daniel, go outside and start fixing the Garden Railroad.
Yes.
We will film you.
Going at it, whacking the weeds down and everything.
That was your whole ploy, wasn't
that
it?
was
Let's
yours.
get Daniel to. Hey, you know who's not here tonight?
Richard Bianca.
Richard Bianca. You know where he is?
Oh,
He's
he
in
said he's
Leadville.
home.
Yes,
Boom
he's
days.
home.
He said, I'm home.
He's in Leadville, Colorado at the what is it officially
Boom
called?
Days.
Boom Days. So
Celebration
here's the
lighting.
here's the boom rock. We're going to show that. And you'll see a bunch of different numbers on there, and I love that color purple, by the way. But so Mike, you know a little more about it, so why don't you tell what he's actually doing?
It's called jack leg drilling.
Okay.
And it's like a big jackhammer that you use horizontally on a rock face.
And
then it's got
here's Richard actually doing that while he's talking
it's
about
got a big jack on the back of it that you can brace into the ground like at a 45-degree angle. I don't know if it's hydraulic or what. But anyway, you have to, you have a starting point. You have to pick this drill up, carry it to the rock. Then you have to drill two holes, separate holes, a certain depth. I don't know what the depth is, but they have to be within a 3-inch square
Wow.
area. Then carry the drill back to the starting point. The drill alone weighs 135 pounds.
That's more than Richard weighs.
Almost. Man, I could not even. You'd be calling
Wow.
911 if I tried picking that.
Well, I know he's been giddy like a little schoolgirl
Yeah, I know.
about
He's
it
been
for
so
weeks
excited
now.
about it.
So
Yeah.
I saw some stuff on Facebook, and I
Yeah.
can't wait for him to be back so he can
He
talk
should be
all
back
about
next
it.
weekend. He
Yeah.
can talk about that.
I'd love to hear about it. So
yeah, so
Yeah.
I found out Leadville is the highest city in the United States. I didn't know that.
really.
Really?
Altitude-wise, yeah.
Wow.
I
And it was a diamond mine, correct? Or there is a diamond mine up
I
there?
don't really know what.
Or
they
maybe
were.
he just called it a
probably
diamond
lead. at
Most
one
of that
time,
out there
maybe.
was, a lot of that out there was gold and silver, gentlemen. The
And-
Rio Grande Southern, the Denver Rio Grande,
So when we
all
went
the narrow
to
gauge
the,
history.
we went to Georgetown Loop there, and you
Yeah.
can see every place on this hillside It's either a goldish orange tint or a silverish tint, and that was depending on what they were drilling.
Yeah,
It
that was the tailing
Ve-
piles.
yeah, very cool.
Going
So they
down
would
the side of the
they would
mountain.
take the stuff
Yep.
that they don't want and just walk to the end of the mine and dump it down the hill, and don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So it was very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
This is the best hobby in the world, guys.
sure is.
All right, so this is going to be a short show tonight, gentlemen, because I can't beat last week, but we got a lot of neat stuff coming up in the 2 weeks on the show.
Yeah.
I know, right? I can't even tell you the special guest, but we're going to have Skype folks sitting on for the
Yeah.
next 2 shows.
Yeah.
Cool.
We got some Broadway Limited models to share
Yeah.
that are quite impressive in N scale. I hope they make that. What's that? Oh, I hope they make that in HO scale, guys, please.
Yeah.
F units. Okay, I'm not even going to tell you. We also have some new stuff showing up next week from Intermountain Railway Company, and that's also in N scale. N scale's getting a lot going on. There's a lot happening. The finite, the detail. We talked about that last week on the show about how amazing
Yeah,
it is.
we're gonna have to all up our prescription of our glasses so we can see the end
That's what I
scale.
got 2 of them for, so I can. You have no idea how many people. They actually walked up to me at the show last week and said, "Now we understand why you wear 2 sets of glasses." It's true.
Yeah.
Right? You got readers for up close, readers for far away. Never mind, I don't go to an eye doctor. Haven't really been to one. But the fact is, these work and they're $15. And if they get broke or crunched, it doesn't matter. It's $15.
Where do you get them for $15?
Deerberg's grocery store, the little grocery
Okay.
store up the street. All right, here comes that train one more time, but I don't know if we can wait for it, can we? We need a couple trains running that. We got to do a show where we're running trains.
Okay,
That'll
I
be
like
fun.
that idea.
We could also run the N-scale layout because it does work.
Yeah, let's do that.
We have a lot of neat stuff to run on it
We
now.
sure do.
Yeah,
we
we
don't
do.
have enough track to run everything.
Right.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say, microengineering. I talked to the boys this week at microengineering. We're going to schedule them to be on a show to give us an update.
Nice.
But right now, the move for the entire company has been put off about 35 to 50 days. So they're going to be maybe moving in September. Here comes that train again. August, September. Yeah, that's what I heard. So as we watch this train on camera number 2, I'm probably going to switch to camera number 1. I don't know how the edit's going to come out, but they always come out good. Thank you very much, Daniel, for being here tonight. Joshua, oh my goodness, I love you. Mike, buddy, you guys aren't going to be here next week, but the week after, I got you on the 19th.
That's
We're
right.
trying to schedule something special for that show.
And we'll see.
With that said, this show is made by Simple Model Railroaders just for you. A lot of people came up to the show and thanked us very much for what it is that we do to help support the hobby. And believe you me, we sit down here and we try to do our very best. And we look forward to this show continuing. Any improvements or changes you all might have for this, your show, readers' comments, that's what it's for.
That's
I look
right.
forward to different ideas. We're always trying to figure out new ways to do this presentation.
Subscribe, hit the bell, like us, come check us out on Facebook too.
All right, boys and girls, we love you all. Let's go run some trains.
Got it done.
I know, I want to make some ribs.
Okay.
I've gotten really good this week at ribs.
Let's go to the store.
We're going to make some ribs. Okay, we need a thumbnail. What do you want
It's
to do
9
tonight?
o'clock. We can eat by
have
midnight or
It's
1.
9 o'clock. Do you know where your
ain't
puppy
got
dog
nothing
is tonight?
to pick
All right, guys, hold up a model and let's do a thumbnail. Ready, set, go. I got some swag here. I love these
trailer.
boxcars. Ready, set, go. And we have the thumbnail. Last week's thumbnail was fun with
It
all
was.
the people in the backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third time
All right,
I've
let
done it.
camera number 1 roll for 45 seconds.
Hey, look at that.
It's awesome, Josh.
I love this show. I love hanging out.
loved
with you
watching
guys.
last
I
week's
know,
show.
wasn't it good? All the people on there.
to watch.
Yeah, it was very cool.
All the B-roll, all the clips, it was very entertaining. I love shows like that.
It was very much so. Really good.